Hi, everybody. This is Kathy L. Murphy, the Pulpwood Queen, reporting live from my little cabin in the woods called Murphy's Law. Now, if you've been following me on Facebook, and if you know anything about what's happening in Texas right now, we have been in an ice storm, winter storm, where temperatures have dropped so low that the electricity has been rolling in and out, internet in and out. Um, all of my pipes froze up almost immediately, even with streaming out of my faucets in both my bathrooms. But I was able to keep the kitchen faucet going. So I was still able to make my coffee and to do my dishes and take baths Indian style in the kitchen with buckets of soapy water. I'm telling you, it has been amazing. Um, um, Way of seeing what kind of fortitude I have as a pioneer, because that's what it's like. It's like being back in the little house on the prairie days, because I live in a little cabin in the woods and there hasn't been anybody up and down my property until last night at midnight. I went to check my faucets again and I noticed that they were now had little more streams coming out, but I kept hearing like a waterfall. And so I turned off all the water on the faucets and I listened, and it seemed to be coming from below the house. So after midnight, you all, I put on my rubber galoshes and I trekked outside in my pajamas and bathrobe with three lanterns and flashlights. And lo and behold, underneath my house was broken, frozen pipes where water was just rushing. So immediately I called the local water company. And it's hard to believe sometimes we live in 2021, because when I called the company, they say this number is no longer working. This is our water company and it's no longer working. So I called security because I live in a gated community. And thank goodness for the guys up there. Here they come trucking. And I met them out in the road and we got the water turned off. I found the box and everything and was more than willing to do it myself. But the problem is you need a special tool to turn off the water now, because it's just really hard. So I came back inside and I realized that I don't have any water except for the pitchers of water in my refrigerator and the bottles of water. So tonight we're having our book and film club. And because I'm one of these people that the show must go on, we're having our film club. I have my internet, and I decided that I would celebrate everything of our author, Adriana Trigiani, who was recently at my book club convention. Right before Christmas, she had sent me, because she's Italian, she had sent me this wonderful package of all this pasta that I shared on Facebook today. And I thought, I'm down to the last bit of things in my pantry, and her gift basket was left. So I dumped all the ice cubes into a big pot to make the pasta, and I made the sauce. And it's amazing what you can do when you don't have water. You get really creative, but the ice boiled down to boil the pasta just fine. I posted pictures on my Facebook pages of the dish and the beautiful things. But the reason why we're here tonight is it's Valentine's month, and all this month we've been watching every Saturday night a romantic film, one that I find wonderful and enlightening. And I started out with Mara, which was a film that was done in India. And then we went on to the film Time Again, which was set in Britain and England. And then tonight, I have picked another film, and it is directed by Adriana Trigiani. And it's a film she was talking about at Girlfriend Weekend that I been wanting to watch, and I found it on YouTube. Of course, it has subtitles in Arabic, but you can watch it on any of your favorite streaming channels. But I absolutely adored this film, and it's going to be I put up on my Facebook page where you can watch the films and some little teaser things for the film. But the film stars Craig Ferguson, it stars Elizabeth Hurley and Kathy Lee Gifford. At first I thought this is an unusual combination, but I have to tell you, the repartee in this film set in Scotland, and as it said in the movie, oh my goodness, because Kathy Lee Gifford goes, this American from Nantucket goes to Scotland after the death of her husband to kind of find herself and go through the grieving process. And she's going all the places she ever dreamed, which is just exactly what I've always wanted to do. And every time she comes out, she's in all these tartan plaids and everything. And Craig Ferguson just killed me because I don't know if you can see, I put everything plaid on I had because, oh my gosh, you've got all Mel Gibson from, Braveheart. I thought it was hilarious. So I couldn't find my kilt and you couldn't see it anyway. If with the way that I've got the Zoom meeting set up. But I've always read books and picked Pulpwood Queen books from around the world, and especially Ireland. In fact, when I was doing my Beauty in the Book shows, which was sponsored by Random House, one of the authors that I interviewed, I was very intimidated by because he was an Irish storyteller. And I'm telling you, the Scottish Irish storytellers are just magnificent. But the man's name was Frank Delaney. And Frank Delaney, for 30 years, ran the book club talk show on the BBC. So here's this little kid from Kansas who's, doing all these authors like Jan Mortel and Anna Quinlan and, Fanny Flagg and Helen Simonson from all over the world. Here I am interviewing them, and I've got this Frank Delaney from who's from Ireland, who has been doing it. And I was really intimidated. And I am such a truthful person. I told him so. And by the time the interview was over, you can watch it on YouTube, everybody. Just go to the Beauty in the Book show with Frank Delaney and you can watch it. I was so charmed and madly in love with his beautiful Irish brogue and the way he was so kind, and the way people from other countries tell stories is just fascinating to me. So I pulled out a few of the books that I wanted to talk to you about, that where we went to other countries. And just last year we read River Jordan's The Ancient Way, Discoveries of the Path of Celtic Christianity. And she had always wanted to go to Scotland and do this trip, and she wrote this book all about her adventures, and nothing I love more than travel writing, travel adventures, memoirs. So if you haven't read River Jordan's The Ancient Way, it's a really great book. And a new book we've got coming up that's going to be in the queue for 2021 is G. Claire's book, Dreaming in the Time of Dragons. Now, you're never really clear where the Kingdom of Dunmore is, but it's Scotland, Ireland, and it's a wonderful read. It's for all ages, and it's a tale that I think you'll get lost in and make you want to go to Scotland, Ireland, the UK, whatever. The reason why we're even here tonight is because one of my book club members, who I've had on the Girlfriend Weekend, who recently featured on my book to film show, was Mary Dees Hampton. And Mary Dees Hampton is an actress that's married to a film director named James Hampton. And I had her recently on the film show, but her book hadn't come out yet. But she is best friends with Adriana Trigiani, and was in her film, which was another wonderful film that we've watched, Big Stone Gap, starring Whoopi Goldberg. Mary Dees Hampton was in it, and Ashley Judd, which it's a wonderful Southern story. You've got to watch it too. But I wanted to show you tonight, because Mary's the one that introduced me to Adri in the first place, is in her book. It's What? And Give Up Show Business. This is a book written by James Hampton, who started out as an actor, and his story of how he got discovered in Hollywood. He got cast the first day he was in Los Angeles. I'm telling you, the stories in here are great. But what's wonderful about this book, Mary just was blogging on her Breathless Bubbles and Books this past week, but he started out as the bugler on F Troop. Now, growing up in Kansas, I was positive the only shows that on television that were ever aired were Westerns, because I spent so much time on my grandparents' farm that we watched shows like um, The Big Valley, the Roy Rogers and Dale Evans Show, Wagon Train, Ponderosa. We watched all these Westerns, and F Troop was one of my favorite, and I just loved his character. He's such a likable guy. But James Hampton has gone on to work with some of the most amazing people you've ever seen in your life. Some of the stories about him, his college days in Texas, being in the theater groups and everything, it's just hilarious. But he went on to become really, really good friends with so many authors. And I'm looking at, he's just adorable, adorable pictures of him. I know you've seen him in a million films, and he ran around with people like Doris Day and James Garner and all these people. And you'll see him in all these stories of Hooray for Hollywood, everything that he's done in the movies with all of these just great people. Lots of pictures, lots of stories. And he went on to become a film director, which it still is amazing to me. The man who started out as a bugler on F Troop went on to direct Sling Blade. I mean, Sling Blade. So that was probably one of the most incredible films I'd ever seen. But I just love the story. There's not that many books nowadays about Hollywood, especially of this time period. And I'm such a fan of films. I highly recommend that you get this book. It's out now. You can get it from Main Street Reads. If you order it from them, you'll get a discount, and you can probably even get an autographed copy. But he's got Pat Boone and Doris Day and Harry Tomlinson, who was my good friend that was married to the creator of Designing Women in Evening Shade, just all kinds of, and then Adriana's quoted on this book too. But I wanted to be sure and mention this, because if it wasn't for Mary, I probably wouldn't have really connected with Adriana. But she is a fabulous person. She has her own book club talk show, which is awesome, on Thursday nights. You guys, it's on Tuesday nights. You need to watch it. It's right before my book club meeting, and she is so entertaining to watch. I think she needs to be in more of her own movies, because just she's just very entertaining, a wonderful person. But the film tonight will be on after this. And I want to mention one other thing. We all fantasize about going these places like Scotland, and seeing the beautiful story, the towns, the countryside, the people, the cultures, the food. But I'm not going to give anything away in the film tonight, but I want you all to please wait for it at the end, because I'm a big fan of tree houses. I grew up in tree houses, and this book has just about every kind of tree house you've had in the world. And when I think of Ireland, I think of, the fey ones, the fairies, the tree houses, the little miniature houses of Scotland and Ireland and all this. So just make note that, you might see something pretty spectacular at the end of the film. The repartee is hysterical between Craig Ferguson, but I'm telling you, the man who plays his sidekick, who works with him as his beautiful ancestral home is now become an inn. The man who works with him he is the best sidekick I've ever seen. He steals a lot of the scenes. So please watch the film tonight. Everything that talks about the film is up on my Kathy L. Murphy page and on my International Pulpwood Queens and Timber Guys page. Please subscribe to my channel on YouTube, the Kathy L. Murphy channel, because everything that I do and every video that I do is recorded and downloaded onto there. So even if you can't watch on Saturday night, maybe you don't have internet and electricity. Believe it or not, I've got all that, just don't have any water. So you can go to the channel, Kathy L. Murphy on YouTube, and you can watch all the films. If you subscribe and click the little bell icon up in the corner, it's going to send you a little notification for every new video that goes up, because we do our online book club on Tuesday nights. We do our writers club, which is meeting on the second Saturday of every month. We have our book to film club, and then I'm always doing, impromptu, in-depth videos with some of our authors and some people in film and different things. So there's lots of things going on this channel, and there's something for everybody. So please subscribe, and perhaps we're coming into the month of March, which is St. Patrick's Day, and everybody thinks with my name, Kathy Louise Murphy, that I am so Irish, and Murphy means, I think it means potato in Ireland, but I actually did my DNA, and I'm actually more Northern European, and I'm only 19% Scot-Irish, but I found out I'm 3% Norwegian. Who knew? It's fascinating to me. So as you can see in my house, I have things from all over the world. I have my wonderful little puppets, string puppets behind me from India, and I have my Indonesia tea set, and I have all my pillows from Greece and beyond. And I just hope you'll join me on our travels around the world with our International Pulpwood Queens and Timber Guys book club, our book and film club, our writers club. Join today at www.thepulpwoodqueens.com. And now I hope you'll go and watch the film. If you want the link to watch it, it's up on YouTube, and stars Kathy Lee Gifford, Elizabeth Hurley, and Craig Ferguson. Have a wonderful night at the movies. It's time to get some popcorn. I don't need water for that. So we'll see you next Saturday night at the movies. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great night. It's all about the story.